apparently Playmates has a line that isn't for kids, because this one is a collector's toy. And then this would be like, if it was another channel, you'd be like, bam, there's the little like theme song and the whatever, and then we cut to the actual video. We don't do that here because we like to get to the point, which is exactly what I didn't just do. So now, to get to the point, Playmates has a line. This is new to me and my stupid little brain. Under 3 brain, that's what's in here, okay? So I have a little child's brain, but this thing is actually somewhere. I saw it on the box. Where did I see it? Ages 14 and up, it says it right there. And then real big right here when I was just showing you the bottom and totally didn't see this. So this is a collector toy for 14 and up. Cool. Bought this from a seller on Amazon, third party. It's all busted up. It's whatever. It's very good, as they stated. But for an inbox collector, you'd probably poop your pants. And if you weren't wearing pants, like you just woke up, and then you got this in the mail and you hadn't even put your pants on, you would see this, set it down calmly, get up, go put your pants on, and come back, and then crap your pants because you'd be so outraged by how damaged this very good item is. But the good thing is, I'm not an inbox collector. Now, I don't know anything about anything that's going on with anything here, except for The Last Ronin. And you guessed it, that means this idiot did another drawing, which I'll put on the screen. And as you're looking at the screen, there's a little QR code. What are you gonna do with that QR code? Well, for somebody that's not watching this on their phone, you can scan it, get to my link tree, and find anything you want. Like this design. Isn't that cool? All right, let's get into the figure, which is a Playmates take on one of the darkest series of Ninja Turtles throughout all of history. There's nothing else as dark as this. And I say that having read 0 of the comics. So I am an expert on this, so you can count on me to give you all the necessary information. But you can also just cheat, read the back of the box, get a little bit of information, and then pretend to know what you're talking about and make a YouTube channel. I don't know who would do that, but that's a smart way to do it. Just fake it till you make it. Whatever, window package, cool, box is fine. It doesn't really have a lot of art, just a couple samples of art. So if you're an art person, you're not really gonna care for that box, which is great because it was beat up. Then you got this little insert thing, which just, whatever, it's red. You got the figure. He's tiny because he's Playmates, of course, but Playmates just getting real wild and making this kind of adult. It was just, this is genius, okay? I want to see more of stuff like this. And you know, some of you are probably very well versed in Playmates' adult line of collectibles. This is totally new to me, and I hope that they do this with more stuff. And just so you all know, Mad Hatter and I are friends, and it's just for fun. For some reason, I feel it's necessary that we both have to say this in a video, even though we've kind of said this in the past. We still have to say it because we get the comments. Whatever. Back to this guy, looking awesome. I like the paint work on his face. Look at that. Looking a little beat up, a little aged. I wonder how much of this stuff comes apart. Now, one thing to know is that this bow staff, okay, is basically just a Slim Jim, okay? So next time you're at the gas station, convenience store, and you're like, man, I could really snap into a Slim Jim. Well, now you're just playing with Donatello's bow staff. So that's weird. But to dig deeper into the accessories here, so we have, it's Playmates, so there's some inconsistencies and stuff. It's not gonna be a perfect thing. It's pretty cheap. Let me put the retail price on the screen because I've saved a few bucks by buying this very good one. So Raphael's Sai, which is looking fine. A little bit of paint work, you know, compared to what a normal Playmates figure would have. But here you can see that paint difference, right? So this is a little bit darker on the handle than this one, but it's no big deal, whatever. These are super plain and simple. They're just black nunchuck, and they have the little wraps that are painted. So very, very simple. Kind of weird that they're not brown, and I would know what color they are from the comics because I clearly read the comics and not just the back of the box. So I know all the details that you could possibly want to know about this. The throwing stars, which are here and not painted silver, which again looks a little strange. They should probably be silver. And these little objects, which are probably some kind of throwing thing. Maybe it's some kind of like little bomb or something. I don't know. They don't just look like an alternate version of a throwing star. And I should moisturize my skin because my fingers look a little rough. But that might be the bleach they got on there. Sorry about it. Don't look at my fingers. Look at the things I'm holding. Now maybe I'll get my fingers out of frame like that. There, you can't even see the tips of my fingers. But this sword is fine. It's got some nice paint. I like the blue and the gold. That's a great color combination in anything in the world. But this got bent just by taking it out of the box because there was tape. But it's a bummer. And then this one broke before I even opened it. This one was broke in the box. Like, come on, Playmates. You seriously? Like, how screwed up? I'm just kidding. This is supposed to be broke because of the story. Okay, something with Leonardo. They all die. This is Michelangelo. If you don't know, I'm sorry for ruining it. Now, there are a couple great channels out there. I feel like the old Turtle Den probably did this, but there are channels that have basically broken down the story of The Last Ronin so that you know what that was, what all happens, how sad and depressing it all is. Michelangelo misses his brothers, okay? The party dude is left being the most brokenhearted and just destroyed. But look at the details of this. For a Playmates, this is awesome. I love it. It's still lacking some paint. So like the piece on his back, which if you have the NECA version, there's obviously a lot more paint and a lot more details and accessories and things like that. But this like ring on his back, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be like a wood piece that he's strapping all these other bits to. I don't know. I mean, I do know because I read the comics. Now, this piece on his back does rotate, and I guess so you can just kind of have a little bit more placement of whatever you're putting in there. And this grappling hook, which I freaking love, man. I love that there's a little thing, but this just begs for paint, for customization. So some stuff like the goggles or whatever are molded into all of this, but based on the comics and the cover art for the comics, there are like 100 variants of what he looks like in the armor and the pads and stuff. So don't judge this one too much and don't judge my artwork too much because there are so many versions, okay? But this, I'm guessing, is for that, which is, it works well. And then you get one over here on the front. And again, it rotates, which is kind of nice. So you can really help with posing and stuff, even though this is just the basic Playmates. The Last Ronin, look at him. It's like taking your old Playmates from the 80s and 90s and then just having a really sad adult story with it. It's kind of interesting. Now, I love the fact that this thing has double... What is going on, Playmates? I want this more often. Double jointed elbows? Are you kidding me? That is fantastic. Then you got an actual wrist articulation, so you can bend it forward and backward. No, there aren't any extra hands, which is a bummer, but I am definitely a fan of all this extra articulation that's going on. This is really, really nice. Now, the downside is the head, because all this gear is one piece. I thought maybe I could like take this off, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Like something's getting caught, but his bandana is there. Okay, I think we can do it. If you commit, folks, and you're not afraid to break it just in case because you're putting it on the internet and you're like, I'm doing it for the people. There you go. So if you put enough work in, you can take that whole section off and you can see his black bandana, but then you have this, they really just stopped painting on the back of his head, which is really unfortunate because they did bother with the top, but then the back is super clean. So you would never want them to display him. Either you just don't display him like this, or you make sure that backside is never shown. Whatever. I would definitely keep this thing on. It is just interesting to kind of take that apart and see how they handled the rest of it. And does this head belong to another figure? Because why go through all that effort of the bandana and doing it up like this if you're just gonna kind of do half the work? And while I'm struggling to get this thing back on and realize it was a huge mistake to take it off because of his bandana, trying to get it over that, somebody in the comments, remind me to moisturize my hands, and then tell me if there's something else from the Playmates line that's for adult collectors that you're aware of and you think is definitely something worth checking out. All right, so biggest downside is just getting the head rotation inside that hood, but you can do it. You just really need to push on his face, and it honestly seems like taking that off and moving his head around helped. And then as you're posing him, be careful if you put this sigh in there, because I realize how many times I've just been pushing on that and bending it. However, let's get into the rest of this. So you can put the sword right there. The bow staff goes right in here, and that is perfectly tight so that you can put it in and not really worry about it moving around. Again, it's just a kind of a lack of paint on all of these details, like the ropes and stuff. I would love to see that extra difference, because this thing with the retail price is pretty close to NECA, to be honest, and you kind of would expect a little bit more paint. I don't know. Are they allowed to get away with doing less because they normally don't even do this much? You tell me, people. The other issues are really going to come down to the fact that there aren't places to put the rest of this stuff. So the broken sword obviously is more of like a simple thing. He does use it, and you'll see it a lot on cover art where it's the broken sword like this, but then the nunchucks. So there's nowhere to put them beyond where they're at already. So you just would, which is his hand. What am I saying? Beyond where they're at already. Stupid. So you're gonna have pieces just kind of floating around, great for photography or depending on how you have it displayed on the shelf, of course. But if you want to sit down and actually play with your little toys, you're gonna have pieces that you need to put into a Ziploc bag or something. Now, as far as the rest of the articulation, I don't know. Let's check it out. He's got this waist articulation right where the belt is, and that's fine because you don't see his shell, so there's nothing like really weird about it. It's just, you know, it's a Playmates thing that's now articulating in the waist, so it does look strange if you go a little too far with it. The legs, they're gonna get there's certainly some limitation because of this not very soft, hard plastic. It's like a medium plastic, that's right. But he's got double jointed knees, which is pretty sweet. Depending on how I do this video, I need to get him up there and show you the details of this thing because I kind of screwed up. Did this video in a very weird way. But here he is, the last Ronin, all of those details looking crisp. And by crisp, I mean totally covered in dirt. So grimy, maybe that's a better word. I like this color for the turtle skin. He's obviously got gloves on here. But this is a very nice figure. It's a really cool way to kind of build up. If you're already doing Playmates classic stuff, but you really love the Ronin line, you're like, well, I don't really want to get into NECA with the scale and all that stuff, and you're just doing really kind of classic stuff, this is perfect. You have to get this thing. I know it's newer, but look, it's a perfect complement to all of your other classic vintage turtles, which I don't have any of. So I can't really compare him size-wise, but I mean, he's like definitely the same size, right? Just a cooler, better figure overall. He's got some ankle articulation, the double knees and stuff. The joints do seem a little loose in the hips, so we kind of got that Super 7 disease going on. But otherwise, you're gonna have some accessories that don't really work that well because they're just kind of plain black, small. I mean, if that was silver, if the throwing star was silver, and if he could actually hold it, because guess what? He's not gonna be able to hold that unless you maybe do it between the fingers. I guess that's kind of cool. But it just blends in because he's got so much black already. It really needed to be just even silver plastic, which, whatever. Silver paint can't be that expensive. It's all over the place. But this is a figure I'm very much happy with. I think this is a must-have for turtle fans. If you've got a big collection of stuff anyway, you're not really too worried about limiting yourself to certain lines like only NECA Toon or only NECA Movie or something. This is really nice, and if you don't care about the packaging, find a seller on Amazon that is like other sellers and then just, you know, get a cheaper price. These things, you could definitely get them below retail. Definitely a must-have. It's really cool. I'm really enjoying this thing out of the box, to be honest. At first I thought, this isn't going to be that big of a deal. Whatever. it's pretty cool though, and I am interested in seeing this other line from Playmates and see what else they do as far as like adult collector stuff specifically. And this is definitely a surprise. I'd love to see some more stuff. How many times can I say that or keep talking in this video? So the next thing to do from here is obviously, if you're enjoying it and you're not subscribed, is to please subscribe. Why wouldn't you do that? Hit the like button. That's another thing you gotta do in videos. And then comment, just talk to me. I always reply to comments. For some reason, there's something in my brain that at least if it's the first time you commented, I have to reply. Get yourself one of these Last Ronins, read the story, or watch a video on YouTube, realize how incredibly sad it is, cry a little bit every time you think about it, and then buy my shirt so you can cry even more. If you're gonna be in the Raleigh, North Carolina area, the end of July, come to GalaxyCon. We're gonna be selling, me and my friends, we're gonna be selling my stuff at my booth, GalaxyCon. See you there. Thank you so much. Let's get into posing. Bye-bye.